They asked the little Chinese girl, her name is Candy Tang. And I remember her name because of what she said. She said, the reporter said, "Does AI scare you?" And she said, "AI never scares me because I see AI as a tool. And if I learn I become the scary person."
Oh,
Yeah,
that hits.
that hits. And this is the same message I've been telling you. This is the same you said in my
Yeah,
workshop.
yeah.
This is the thing. She just, to hear it come out of a 12-year-old girl's mouth, it's like, yes, she gets it.
Welcome to All Can, No Can't, the podcast where we toss out excuses, face our fears, and reclaim control. I'm Jeff Luther, your guide to mastering the chaos and turning obstacles into opportunities. Whether you're an entrepreneur navigating the ups and the downs of building a successful business, or someone ready to rewrite the rules of your life, this is your space to grow, to push boundaries, and to embrace doing the hard shit that leads to greatness. Together, we'll explore stories of resilience, strategies for overcoming, and the mindset shifts that let you build a life on your terms. I use my experience with a life-altering diagnosis to help you find the can in every can't. So buckle up, because it's time to stop living in can't and start thriving in all can. You choose.
Welcome back to All Can, No Can't. This is where we find the opportunity in the obstacle. I'm your host, Jeff Luther, and so good to see you again. Life has a funny way of forcing growth. Most of us don't really change when things are comfortable. We change when we have to. You know, as entrepreneurs, we don't get ready for the next problem. We become the next level when the problem comes and we have to solve it. We change when pressure shows up, when business gets hard, when life punches us in the mouth, so to speak. When we hit that moment where we realize that what got us here is not going to get us there. Today's guest understands that better than most, and better than a lot of the people I know. So back in 2015, when I joined EO, Ethan King became one of my mentors and coach. And at the time, I was trying to grow my home inspection company. I was trying to hit that $1 million, and I couldn't. And Ethan helped me think differently about business, about growth, about systems. I learned a funny word, profit. And within a few months, I crossed the $1 million mark. But what really makes Ethan's story worth hearing is not what happened when things were working. It's what happened when things were not working for him. Long before AI was the buzzword and the conversation everybody was having today, Ethan found himself facing a decision that entrepreneurs know all too well. Do we get agile? Do we adapt? Or do we quit? And that obstacle forced reinvention. Today, Ethan teaches entrepreneurs how to leverage AI to create leverage, buy back time, and build really smart businesses. Ethan, thank you so much for coming to the show, man. I'm so glad to see you.
Jeff, it's great to be here. Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, I can't. It's so funny, like how now I see you. I'm like, oh my god, that guy was my coach. That guy got my business to $1 million. Who would have thought, right? It's like just kind of a one and done thing, but our paths continue to cross.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. I'm glad I could be part of your journey.
Um, and I love hearing your story. I know there's a bigger component now, like you're wildly successful, and if anybody deserves it more than you, I have not met them.
Trying to
And
say that.
it's so fun to watch. So, a little bit of background: who was Ethan King before AI?
Oh God, before AI,
The entrepreneur Ethan King.
man,
And we could go back a little further, but
I wouldn't even call myself an entrepreneur. Jeff, I have no formal business training. I have no entrepreneurs in my family. A lot of times I wake up like, what am I even doing here? And I ended up in my business in such a roundabout way. Jeff, I literally wanted, when I was a kid, people were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I literally wanted to be an artist, like drawing and painting type of artist. That was my thing, like for real.
really,
Like I had my work in exhibitions. It was around eighth grade when I got really serious about art. And people saw like, oh, this kid has a little bit of artistic talent. And in high school, I started taking college level classes, and that's what I wanted to do as a career. And and my parents were like, "Hey, artists don't make any money until after they're dead, right?"
Yeah.
So I did want to make money, so I kind of had to pivot. I got into graphic design, and in a roundabout way, I ended up being kind of unemployable. Ended up starting my own business, and that's how I ended up just figuring out through trial and error. Ended up in this thing called entrepreneurship, EO, because we were working out of my basement, didn't know what I was doing. We opened up a store, hired a whole bunch of people, still didn't know what we were doing. And one of my buddies, he was like, "Hey, have you heard of this group?" And I was like, "No, I need it." And he was like, "It'll get you to 1 million." You know how that goes. So I was like, "Okay, sign me up," because I was like, $1 million? Oh my god! I know are making that much money every year, and I thought it was this like huge pile of cash, and it motivated me to get in there and do it. So the thing is, this was the hard lesson that I had to learn. It sounds like it feels so stupid saying this now. When I heard $1 million a year, that's revenue, profit, and you just think, oh God, anybody who makes $1 million a year, they're just swimming in it. They're like Scrooge McDuck, right?
Yep.
But no, when I hit that $1 million a year in revenue the first year, I had, in fact, I remember the numbers. I had I had $1 million in 2000, so I had $2,000 over the $1 million mark to go ahead and apply for this organization. My expenses were like a million and six, so I was negative, and I know it wasn't that much, but it was still like I didn't make any money. Why
Yeah.
do I feel broke? And that was the hard lesson about revenue and profit. I mean, I had heard of these things, but yeah, when you're looking at your P&L and you see a bunch of figures and you're like, what? Where's the money in the bank? Why?
Yeah.
Why am I?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time to figure that out, that a P&L statement and a balance sheet are wildly different things.
Right.
Do you remember looking at your P&L statement and it having like, I don't know, $6,000 in profit or whatever, or 20,000, and thinking, well, shit, if there's $20,000 in profit, why do I only have $684.44 in the bank? Like what?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
one thing I could never figure out. And at one point, I thought my accountant was the problem. I was like, what are you doing with that money?
Oh man, and probably so many business owners listening to this can relate to that. But you asked where I was before AI, so that's where I was, just trying to figure it out off of like dumb luck, trial and error, ending up in business, paper thin margins, very little profit if any, and then out of nowhere we get slapped with a lawsuit, and it was crazy. I mean, it was like, I mean, I am under a what do you call it?
NDA.
Yeah, I can't talk too much
Yeah.
in detail about it, but I can talk about it vaguely. But it was an organization that we had been partnering with for years. So you think people are on your side, and then all of a sudden they turn against you, and it was a money grab. But they had our backs up against the wall because of a loophole in a contract, basically.
Oh, wow.
And I had never been through a lawsuit. I'm like, what is this? This guy storms up to my office and puts a big stack of paper on my desk, and it's like, you've been served. And I'm like, what? And I'm reading. I was like, is this real? And so we had to pay lawyers to fight it. Didn't get dismissed like I hoped it would, and we did not have any money, so we went into debt to pay lawyers. This debt started piling up and snowballing, and it made a bad situation worse. And it was really, really dark time in my life. I mean, I had a lot of dark thoughts, and um, it started that money situation started to affect other areas of my life.
Hmm.
Started to affect my personal health. Started to affect my relationships, question my spirituality, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when I was really just reaching for a solution, because the first lawyer that we had, because we couldn't afford, at the time, we just hired the lawyer that we could afford. So
Yeah.
going with the cheap lawyer and fighting this battle, one day he was like, "Have you just considered filing bankruptcy? And then they can't get anything if you file bankruptcy." And I was like, "Am I really here right now? Am I having this conversation?" And it was a sobering moment because I was like, "Okay, I got to make a decision here. Am I going to fight to keep this business alive, or am I going to give up and do what this lawyer says, file bankruptcy?" So first thing we did was we fired that lawyer, got a
Right.
new one, and I got that from my forum actually, because and this was right when I had just joined EO. This was like the first thing I was
Oh
dealing with, like
man.
months in EO, and this guy who had dealt with this for a while, he was like, he said you need big letterhead. You need a lawyer with big letterhead. What does big letterhead mean? And he was like, you need one of those lawyers that they have so many offices and resources, like their letterhead takes up the whole top half of the paper. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went and I got the lawyer with the big letterhead. He cost bigger bucks, but in that so that was more debt. But that was the first step, and that helped tremendously because we ended up countersuing them, and we ended up prevailing in that situation. But along the way, I still had to fix my money problem, right? Because now I have all
Yeah.
this debt. So I didn't have money to throw at the situation to keep my business alive. So that's when I turned to this thing I had heard of. I kept hearing about marketing automation, marketing automation. And you can set your emails up to just go out automatically and keep your sales and your follow up engine going. And at the time, I thought, oh, well, you need to be a computer programmer, all this kind of stuff. And turns out you didn't. Like, once I was forced into that situation, I went to workshops and got the books and watched the videos, and I learned how to do it. This was back in like 2011, like early last decade. And I was like, oh, I can do this. And I built these, I just went automation crazy, like adopted an automation first mindset. And not only just with me, but I instilled that with my whole team and my company. Like, we adopted an automation first mindset, and not just in tech, but automation can apply to every area of your life.
Yeah.
We read this book called 2 Second Lean, which Marshall, who was in our group, he's the one who told me about it. And so one thing we do in our company is we share books. We all read them together. We discuss them weekly, and people actually implement ideas. So 2 Second Lean is where you just make some type of tweak to your work environment that might take you 30 minutes to make this tweak. Maybe it's rearranging your desk. Maybe it's rearranging a whole room or a department. Maybe it's doing something on the file system on the computer. Everybody has an opportunity to make a 2 second lean improvement. So you spend 30 minutes making the improvement, and that improvement saves you 2 seconds of time. And if you do that every single day, those 2 seconds start to compound.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole organization doing that. And that just, it granted us so many efficiencies. I was applying the automation, and we were able to come out of that situation. We had doubled our revenue with half of the staff that we had going into.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. So there's your profit, right?
Yeah. That's when I learned about profit. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I was an idiot for all of these years before this.
Well, I don't know about that. And like, that's what we do, right? And I did a whole episode, I did a solo episode on this very thing, because if you and I are sitting at a bar, it's cool for me to tell you what my top line revenue is. But it's not real cool for me to tell you what my profit is, because now you know how much I'm earning, you know how much I'm putting in my pocket. So that's not a real comfortable conversation.
Yeah. What do they say? Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I say I was an idiot, though, is because it's one of those things in my life where I wish I would have done this sooner.
Oh gosh.
I know we all have those moments, and you're kicking yourself like, I was like, why didn't I get into this automation thing 3 years ago, 5 years ago? And this is why I'm so passionate about teaching entrepreneurs this now. It's like AI is such a gift that we've been given, where you don't have to be a coder, and you can build stuff, anything you want. You're only limited by your imagination.
Yep.
You're talking plain English to this thing, and half the world hates it. Like, are you guys crazy? And they're worried about water. I'm like, do you take showers? Like, why are you worried about water?
Yeah.
You burn more energy watching Netflix and scrolling through TikTok than you do doing a prompt in AI. And
Yeah.
I want to grab. I see kids booing. Have you seen this? The college kids are now booing any commencement speaker who mentions AI in a positive way.
No
It's
way. Oh, I
in
haven't
this
seen it.
graduation season. If you look it up, like on YouTube, you'll see all these clips of boos in the audience if the speaker says anything about how AI is a revolution or anything positive. And I just
Oh,
want to grab
wow.
these kids and just choke them. And look, check this out, Jeff. One day I'm scrolling through like Instagram and I see one of these graduation clips, like these American kids, college kids protesting AI. Like they're literally holding signs in the street protesting AI. AI is slop. Claude is fraud. And they're booing at the graduations. And then I was just shaking my head and then I scrolled a little bit more and I saw a news clip of kids in China where there's a 12-year-old little girl who had already built apps and she's making money building apps in AI. And you can go to a shopping mall in China and buy a robot to help you do household chores. And I'm like, what is going
Wow.
on? Like, it was just such a stark contrast between the American kids and the Chinese kids. And, I'm not trying to put down, I mean, I'm a proud American. I'm not trying to put down our country or anything,
Sure,
but
I understand.
we have to shift our mindset. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And that little girl, this quote stuck with me. They asked the little Chinese girl, her name is Candy Tang. And I remember her name because of what she said. She said, the reporter said, does AI scare you? And she said, AI never scares me because I see AI as a tool. And if I learn I become the scary person.
Oh,
Yeah,
that hits.
that hits. And this is the same message I've been telling you. This is the same you said in my
Yeah.
workshop.
Yeah.
This thing, she just to hear it come out of a 12-year-old girl's mouth, it's like, yes, she gets it. And that's what I want more people to get right now because it's not going anywhere. You fighting it isn't going to just make it
No.
disappear.
No.
That's what the Luddites were. Back in the 18th century with the Industrial Revolution, the Luddites were this group of people who destroyed the machinery in the factories because it was taking their jobs or they felt threatened by it.
Right.
Guess who won that battle? The
Yeah.
machinery, the machines are still here. The
Right.
Luddites. So you're not going to win. AI is only going to become more and more a part of our lives, and eventually, the stuff that I'm teaching now is going to be normal. It's going to be commonplace. Everybody's going to have these agents doing things for them. The same way we all have iPhones now. I mean, I was getting off of an exit the other day. I saw this homeless guy asking for money, holding a sign. I turn around in his back pocket, there's an iPhone. I'm like, okay, everybody just has
Yeah.
this technology now.
Right.
At one point, it was new, and now we're like, and now it's so commonplace. Everybody has it. It's going to be the same way with AI agents. You're going to have an agent that just monitors your health. You're going to have an agent that handles your finances, does different things in your business. Every person will come with like 100 different AI employees that do personal and business related stuff for them. I don't know how many years that will be from now, maybe 5, 10, I don't know, 2, might be a month from now. But people who start now will have an advantage, will have a head start. In that gap is what's important because that's what's going to allow. So many more millionaires and billionaires are going to be minted in these next few years.
Yeah.
People grab a hold of this and apply it.
Yep. Yeah, because you can move so fast once you grab onto it. You
Yeah.
can move so fast. And that brings up a couple of questions. So my first question that popped up, you may not know the answer to this, but you see thousands of people literally doing your workshops, doing your talks. Most people choose to be there. Like, the workshop I was in, everybody there seemed like they felt lucky to be there. But I guess sometimes you do have opposition in people that kind of challenge it. Do you think it's mostly fear related that people don't like AI, or is there something else, another reason?
I think it's a mixture. It could be a couple of reasons. Deep down, it's probably fear. Tony Robbins says everything stems from fear. That's his
Yeah.
philosophy.
Everything
But
boils down to the fear of not being loved, if you ask Tony Robbins. Everything.
yes, two things: fear of not being loved or fear of I'm not enough. But
Yeah.
yeah, all boils down to that. So with AI, yeah, fear of something threatening your livelihood. I've seen that firsthand, where companies will hire me to come in and teach AI to their teams. So like you saw me at an event where there were mostly business owners in the room, if not all business owners.
Yeah.
They might have been staff. Um, but when I'm coming into a company, the owner, the CEO, they're gung ho about it, but the employees are being forced to come to this meeting. So that's one of the first things I have to do is get them to embrace something that they hate. And the way that I do that is to show them how it benefits them personally first, so that they don't feel like they're being burdened with
Yeah.
a work tool that's going to put them out of a job.
Yep.
By the time I'm done, I've literally had employees say, confess to their boss at the end of the workshop, I got to admit, I did not want to come to this training because I thought AI is going to take my job. But now I feel like I'm the robot manager. I feel like I got a promotion because now, and that's the mindset we need to have,
Yeah.
because that's what all of us are going to be, is robot managers. So the quicker you learn how to build these robots, not actual like physical robots, but these agents, how to build them, how to deploy them, how to manage them, how to train them, the quicker you become a good robot manager, the more employable you will be. And this is whether you're an individual with a career or whether you're a company. People are going to want to go with the company that's still cutting edge, not the company that's still like paying for ads in the yellow pages and telling you to write them a paper check and they only accept faxes. Like it's too much hassle, dude. Like, come on.
People only use checks at the grocery store anymore when they're in line in front of me.
Right. I have not written a check in so long, like a physical check. I don't even think I have checks anymore. It's
I
just
don't even have any.
my mom still has them. She still does it. So
Does she? Yeah, I'll just write him a check. So to me, like, we can't. This is how I feel, and you might relate to this, but we can't see, I think, the possibilities. We see the limitations. We see what it takes from us. But if you think about, I did a tour at a plantation here in South Carolina this past weekend, and I was like, I wonder, and you go there and they talk about the history and this and this, and they said, this is where Mr. Middleton would have his business executives come over, and this is where they would sit and they would talk business. I'm like, man, these folks would travel, I don't know, hours to go 50 miles, come sit in a room and talk business, and who knows how long it took for something to happen. And then can you imagine the fear of these men when the telephone came out? Like now, oh my God, now we have this phone. I don't have Bill come over to my house and sip tea and look at the flowers. Now my competitors can call and do stuff faster. So, I mean, it seems like the same thing.
As you know, I've been coaching for a little over a year now, and my coach just laid something pretty heavy on me. They've challenged me to have 50 powerful coaching conversations booked within the next 30 days. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, maybe successful but unfulfilled, or you just need to talk something through with someone that you know will listen, then I would love to have that conversation with you. This is not a tactic. There's no sales pitch. It's just one powerful conversation. This is complimentary to you. So if you want in, send me a message and I'll send you the link. I got you.
Yeah, and it opened up so many things because now people can shop around on the telephone.
Yeah.
You may not get that deal. So yeah, I'm sure people did feel threatened.
Yeah.
And then as we continue to look at the progression of the telephone, you had the human operators who had to punch the things. And when toll-free numbers came out, well, all of those people were out of a job. We don't have human operators. Yeah.
That's right.
When you talk about jobs being replaced, I mean, what happened to all those operators? I mean, did they starve to death on the streets? I mean,
they have their own state. They're there with the travel agents.
Right. With travel agents. It was crazy. Travel agents. I know travel agents that are doing well today in 2026. So you can adapt.
So
I don't know any phone operators though.
A buddy of mine, and no, I do not know any phone operators. A buddy of mine is like the anti AI. And so he'll send me emails every few weeks, and it's always doom and gloom. And he sent me an email, said, I can't believe I spent this money to send my son to school to be a whatever he's going to be, industrial engineer. Is that the people that do HVAC? That's industrial, right? And he said, and he could be doing landscaping, and it wouldn't have cost me a thing. And there was a graph of what jobs AI is going to take. And landscaping, it was the safest job from AI. And I responded, and I was like, dude, I just booked a ski trip to Colorado, and I paid a travel agent like $1,500 to do it all for me, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not, and they probably saved you. You probably broke even at least because they can get savings and stuff. They know your preferences well. I don't think HVAC is going anywhere. I think you still got to have that physical person come out. So
Oh yeah,
are safe.
yeah,
But yeah, it's the art. That news clip I was talking about, it's the art majors, things like that feel like, oh, I just sat 4 years, got this degree, and all of a sudden, boom, a prompt can do what we just spent thousands of dollars for me to learn how to do. So that's why they're pissed off. I mean, look, AI replaced what I went to school for too. Now that was much longer ago, so maybe
yeah.
that time is at time to heal. But I learned, after doing the art thing, I learned web design, graphic design. All this stuff can be done with a prompt now. I spent years like learning how to write HTML code and designing websites by hand. With a prompt, you can literally put it on your site now in seconds. Am I mad about it? No, I learned it, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
Now I combine it with my knowledge that makes me more powerful in that area, and that's what I advise anyone to do. It's like you don't just learn AI. Yeah, you do need to know the fundamentals, but it's like, where do you already have shine? Where do you already have a skill set and experience, and how can you amplify that with AI, and how can you automate all the other crap that we don't want to do, like in our businesses. I have a lot of clients who own daycare centers because I spoke at one of their associations, and what I heard over and over again from these people is they love the kids. That's why they got into this business. They love taking care of these kids. That's their passion, but they don't want to deal with employees coming to work late, having to deal with regulations from the state government, having to process payroll, insurance, all this litany of stuff that business owners hate doing that you have to do. It's just a necessary evil in any business. People want to focus on their passion, their craft, their love. And for those people, it's the kids. So we built them AI agents that help them do all the administrative stuff. So now they can focus on the kids, and they are so relieved that they have this superpower. And if
Yeah.
daycare center owners can do it, and these are the least techie people in the world. If I have them running like OpenClaw agents and Hermes agents from their phone that's doing stuff for them, I'm telling you, anyone can do this. And that's why I was like, I have to get this book out. I have to get this into more people's hands.
Oh, the book. All right. So a couple of things. I'm gonna lose this, but I want to tell you this. You said that your parents said, "Hey, artists don't make money until they're dead." I just read this article about this dude, Beeples. Does that name ring a bell?
Mm-mm.
So you remember the NFT craze with the monkeys, like when that first came
Yeah.
out?
Yep.
This dude lives in a town here, Somerville, was just like this normal dude, decided that he was going to do one electronic piece of art every day. He did it for like 500 days, and he sold this NFT for $69 million.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was like the first big NFT sale. So that was, and I suspect he does it with a lot of AI generation.
Interesting.
If you look at his art, I suspect that's how he does that. Because to do it daily, his art is complex, and to do that every single day, there's got to be some AI generative stuff that's done with it.
Huh, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, Beeples is the dude's name. I'll send you a link to it. And then the second thing I was going to talk about was I already forgot, so it doesn't even matter. And I knew that. Oh, your book. So here's what we did. Number one, I'm so fascinated to hear like in your workshop, the way that you break down the prompts, because a lot of people, I asked my trainer, or my coach, whatever you want to call it. I asked him if he used AI, and I think some people are ashamed to say it. So I think he was a little bit embarrassed to say that he puts my workouts through chat. I asked him if he used it, and he said, sometimes I just ask it this and ask it this. I was like, dude, I've got to send you these prompts. So I sent him the link to your website. How did you figure out? Because a lot of it is about prompting, garbage in, garbage out, right? We've been saying that for years. How did you figure out such easy ways, and maybe it wasn't easy for you at the time, but you made it easy for us. How did you figure out such easy ways to prompt ChatGPT to get what you wanted? Not to get what it wanted to give you, but to get what you wanted. How did you do that?
Those prompts evolved over time. And I share what Jeff is referring to, like I share this prompt library when I teach workshops and I walk people through the process. And of course, in my books, I have tons of prompts and I teach frameworks for writing prompts. So,
Hey, do I have your permission to put that link in the show notes to your
well,
website?
put the you can put the link to my main website, but then drop the link
Okay.
to the book because the book has the links
Okay.
up in there.
And don't let me
Um,
forget to tell you what we did with the book. Sorry I interrupted you. I would forget if I didn't.
okay, tell you. All right, cool. Um, so with the books with the prompts, those evolved over time. And what I've learned about AI is that it's the skill set needed is less about like coding. You don't really need to know any coding or computer science,
Right.
or about being a good communicator. To even if you're a good communicator with people, you'll be a good communicator with AI. If you're a good communicator with AI, you'll be a better communicator with people. I've noticed that as I've started using AI, I've gotten even better with my human communication skills. It's leadership communication. So usually, if you're any type of business leader or if you manage people, you probably told someone, delegated something to someone,
Yep.
and they did not do it the way that you were expecting. I'm sure
Yep.
we've all experienced that. And 9 times out of 10, whose fault is it? It's your fault as the leader because you did not give enough context. You were too vague in your instructions to the person. So it's the same thing with AI. The main word in AI is context. And a lot of people hear that word and it sounds scary. It's like, oh, that sounds like computer jargon. It's not. It's just like if you're talking to a person, they need background information. They need to first, why do I need to do this thing? What's the end goal? What's the benefit? And then what's the desired output that you want? What does it need to look like? So if you start with the end in mind, and I say, hey Jeff, we need a blog post posted to our website every week, every Friday at 7 a.m. And this is important because it helps us with SEO. It helps us get discovered in search engines. And this blog post, it needs to be about 1,000 words. It needs to contain an image. It needs to have a couple of links in it. And it needs to be worded, it needs to sound like our brand voice of our company. And here's that description of our brand voice. So you see how I'm giving you all of this context around exactly
Yeah.
what I and how it should be done. Whereas most of us, we just go and say, hey, Susie, did you write that blog? The blog needs to go out every Friday.
Yeah.
And that's it. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing with AI. And that's what I've learned over time. And so that framework for the prompts, which is broken down in my first book, the ChatGPT to Double Your Business in 90 Days. First, you have to give it the tools that it needs. That's T. It's called trace. So tools, turn on the tools that you need by clicking that little plus key. And then you need to give it a role. AI is great at role playing. So I can tell AI to speak like Mickey Mouse or like Arnold Schwarzenegger or to think like Abraham Lincoln. It knows it has enough context about all these people that I can just say that. But I can say act as an expert blog writer. You've written for Huffington Post in the top blogs. I'm this descriptive with the role. And then A is for action. Would tell it what you want it to do. Write that blog post. And then context. Give it more context. That's what the C is for. And that's some of the details I just gave you. And then execution is the end result, the final, how you want it outputted at the end. What do you want it to give you? So tools, role, action, context execution is the trace format for prompting.
Yeah. Or you can do what a lot of people do, like what I tell my kids. I say, hey, go clean the garage. And they put up a couple of dumbbells that were laying on the floor and then maybe pick up some towels and that's it. Where,
Yeah.
you want the floor mopped. You want everything
Yeah.
put in its place. You
Yeah.
sweep first. You wash all the towels. You fold them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their standard of clean. They clean. This is my standard of clean.
Yep.
Back to playing Roblox or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. You told me to remind you what you all did with the book.
Yes. Okay, so this is not your most recent book, Done. This is because Done is I can't wait to get a hold of that, but I have to build a better foundation first. This is Double Your Business in 90 Days with ChatGPT. And dude, like that book is amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, it's like you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I bet I could learn some stuff in there. I'm doing the exercises. Here's what else we did. We took a group of folks that were in your workshop. We're meeting every other week for 3 hours to go through all of those daily exercises that you have, and we're all getting them done. So it's like a book club, but you have to stay current to be at the next meeting. So everybody, because as entrepreneurs, man, oh, we have the next shiny object. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then a couple of days goes by and you lose momentum.
Yeah.
But this is too valuable. So it's working out really well. It's been super cool.
Great. That is great. That is so great to hear. And that's the perfect way to go through the book. That's why I wrote it that way. It's 90 days, but you do chapter 1, you stop and you go and do that thing. Like you go down that rabbit hole, you implement. Then day 2, you stop. So I'm so glad. Like having group accountability, as you know, is the accountability is the key to getting stuff done.
Yeah. Yep.
You gotta have somebody holding you accountable. It's not really the knowledge, it's the accountability. You don't need more time. You need a deadline. A famous quote by who's that? Dizzy Gillespie, I think. But yeah, that is golden. I love that.
I will tell you something else, and you nailed it. I've seen you talk about this on your social networks too, which I have a question about that. But you're like, hey, what's one thing that's preventing you from posting? What's the one thing that prevents people from posting? You talked about it.
Yeah, overthinking.
Overthinking. Yep. And you assign it to AI, and they produce the post. Now you have permission. That's not me. That's you know.
Yeah. And I told that story about when we all probably experienced this. Most people do. Like you feel a little bit cringy and you hesitate about putting something out. You're worried about what somebody might think, or if you're saying the wrong thing, or if your hair looks weird. And that's why we overthink, and then we don't post enough. That we have to, like, social media, like it or not, like that's how people discover people now.
Yeah.
And I gave all the stats around that. 1 in 4 people worldwide now go to social media first when they're searching for something before anything else. 1 in 4 people.
Yeah.
So, and that number is only growing.
Right.
So it's a necessary evil. We have to show up on social media for our brand to be known. And you don't have the luxury of overthinking anymore. So if you're to block that overthinking, or you need to be authentic with your content. I'm not saying like just put out a bunch of AI generated.
That's what I was going to ask you about.
Right. Yeah, you have to. So everything I post is authentically me. I'm just not the one mechanically posting it, because if I'll be the bottleneck. If I have to mechanically sit there and post it, it won't get posted. So I have a human assistant, Dane. He's awesome. He chops up my long videos and he posts them out for me, writes the captions. I've given him AI tools that are trained on my voice so that he can write on my voice on my behalf. And then I also have AI agents that post for me, that they can take my content, write in my voice, and actually put it on my social media for me. So between my human assistants and my digital assistants, I'm not the one mechanically posting, but everything that I'm saying on social media is authentically me.
Yeah. Yeah, I follow you. So I follow you on all platforms. I see you most on LinkedIn, probably. I think that's where I spend most of my time. I see you on Facebook. I see you on Instagram, and they're all different. Like the voice is the same. It's the authenticity is there, But you might have a post. This is a hypothetical. You might have a post about a dog somewhere, and that post is going to stay consistent through all three, but it's different. So it's not like rechurned content. If someone wanted to do that, if you could say, hey, if this is what you want, start here. If you could give someone one starting point, like a tip to accomplish that, what would be your tip? Beginner.
Yeah, the beginner tip, the starting point is you need to have a repository of content. So start building that up. Get in the habit of recording everything you do. 'Cause otherwise, where are you going to get content from? So most businesses don't have enough content. So just tell your team. You can go about this in so many different ways. You can give your team a bunch of iPhones or Meta glasses, like maybe invest a couple of $100 and just having cameras around. You can set up Nest cams. A lot of people do that to generate content. So it's like always recording, and you can go and grab those clips. For me, every time I'm on a podcast like this kind of stuff ends up being content. Hopefully, I've said one or two things on here that sound cool and will sound cool in a clip that appears on TikTok or LinkedIn that Dane or one of my AI agents can chop up. And then you can once you build up this repository of content, so all my keynotes, podcasts, everything I'm doing, back behind the scenes things at the office that you're doing with your team. If you can capture testimonials from any of your clients, work you've done, you do work in houses. So I love following those. Some of my favorite people to follow are the backyard renovation guys.
Oh yeah.
I follow them. They'll do those walkthroughs,
Yep.
like these houses in Utah and California, and I see the waterfalls and the fire pits. Like, oh man, that's awesome. That's content.
Yeah.
But the first step, you asked me for an easy first step. Get in the habit of capturing content. Just
Yeah.
record. Don't worry about how it looks. In fact, people like stuff more that's rough around the edges more than people like the polished look. So that should
Yep.
give you some breathing room and some relief. Like this does not have to be production level, like Hollywood quality. Just document, just capture it all in one place, whether that be a Google Drive folder, Dropbox folder, whatever it is. Because once you have that content, then you can take the next step and have people chop it up. You can capture your voice. You can extract the transcripts to train AI on your voice and how you speak so that it can start to imitate you. But the number one step is getting that content.
Yeah. And a lot of times people forget because you go through life and that's just your average day, right? It has to be something extraordinary for me to post it. It has to be an alligator fighting a billy goat. It's just like we just think in these terms of extraordinary.
I'm glad you said that because I was at a conference recently and I didn't know about this guy. But there's this guy who went viral, and all he did was every day he recorded himself kicking a rock down the street. Yeah, and it's just his foot kicking a rock, and he wanted to see how many days would it take for this rock to become smooth, like to erode and become smooth. So every day he just documented kicking this rock. And he got like millions of followers. Yeah. So you talk about not having to be extraordinary. If that's a lesson,
Wow.
dude, people will find to all of us, to you yourself looking in, like your life is boring because it's your life.
Yeah.
You think, oh, this isn't extraordinary. But to someone else, they would be super fascinated to see what you do every day.
Yeah.
And that's just like in my companies, like we run these embroidery machines. To us, it's what we do. But people love when they come behind the scenes, they love to just watch the needles move and it put down the stitches, and they're fascinated by it. They'll stare at it for hours. So yeah, share what you do.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. All right, man. Well, we've talked about the double your business in 90 days, and Done. For Done, I started reading it. I bought it, and then just started reading. I just kind of opened it up just to see what it was all about, and I went a few pages in, and I started reading it, and I couldn't stop. That's technically a little over my head, so I think I'm going to be in a good place when I get done with double your business. Would you recommend folks do the same thing, or do you think people can start with Done?
You could. but it is written more as a sequel to ChatGPT to Double Your Business in 90 Days.
Okay.
So the ChatGPT book came out I published that in 2024. And so AI has evolved from chatting with it to actually having it do things. So depending on if you're already very, very familiar with that chat level and you want to get into building agents, then grab the book Done and jump into it. But I still find that even today in 2026, most people don't have that foundation layer
Yeah.
yet of the chat GPT stuff. They might think they know it because
Right.
they're using chat GPT as a glorified search engine, but no, get that foundation layer, grab that book, know how to chat with it well. There are 6 levels of AI, and that book will take you up to like levels one and two, a little bit of level three. And then the book Done takes you up into like levels three, four, five, where it's the levels of autonomy where you actually build autonomous agents. So yeah, it is written as a sequel.
Got it. Okay. That's helpful. Thank you. And is this the third time you're an international bestseller?
Yeah, it is actually. So I with Wealth Beyond Money, it came out in 2022. It did hit international bestseller. I think it hit number one in 3 categories. ChatGPT to Double Your Business in 90 Days. I came out with that book so fast. It sold way more copies than Wealth Beyond Money. So fast, like I couldn't even track it because I was selling them in bulk. Like people were just crazy about ChatGPT, so that was just right, and it was like, okay, that's great. And then with this one, we just hit international bestseller. It hit number one in 28 different categories, which I was blown away by that. Yeah, 28 categories, 3 countries: U.S., Canada, Australia. So people are hungry for this knowledge about how to make. And I call it Done. I have to say this. The reason I call the book the full title of the book is Done. Period. And then let AI do your work so you can live your life. And that moment, this is one of those. We have these moments in our lives where everything just changed. You could probably remember like maybe the first time you experienced an iPhone, or maybe the first time you drove an electric car, or something like that, where you're like, oh, this is the world's never going back. This is the future. This is that moment. Well, for me, it was when I had built my first AI agent and I gave it a task to do. And it came back, and it was a pretty complex task that would have probably taken a human weeks. And it just replied back in a couple of minutes, done. And then it broke down what it did, and it was like, okay, what's next? I was like, I didn't believe it at first, Jeff. We've been using AI for a few years, and a lot of times AI will tell you it did something and it didn't do it at all, and you're like, come on now, you're just hallucinating. So I went and checked, and it was done well. I think it wrote like 12 blog posts for me because I needed to backfill some blogs, and it did it like that, and it was in my voice, and they were quality, and it had the images, and I was like, there's no way it did it that fast, but it actually did. So I was like, done. That done moment, and I see it all the time now when I'm messaging my bots. They come back done, and I want everyone to experience that moment. Like when you have that done moment and you get more and more of them, you're getting stuff done. Things that have been on your to-do list, on your wish list, on your dream list that might have taken weeks, months, years, you're now able to collapse time and get them done in hours or days.
Yeah, I want some of that for sure.
Got it. Got it.
Um, what's the best place for people to find you? If somebody wanted to do a workshop, where could they find
I
you?
keep it all in one place. It's my website. It's my name, ethanking.com. ETHANKING.com. That's where you can find all the resources.
Perfect. And then links to your books
Yeah,
are there, right? Links
yeah,
to purchase.
definitely.
Awesome. Um, all right, man. I know that you've got to go on to the next show or next episode. Any parting words of wisdom? Anything that um, we should know to keep our positivity around AI?
Yeah, well, my catchphrase. I always tell people because I truly believe it. You can have it all. Like, don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Like, whatever that means to you. Like, you don't have to give up what you really desire in life. I didn't say you can have everything because you don't want everything, right? But you can have it all, whatever that means to you, and just grab these tools. Find the simple approach. Everything has a simple approach to do it. I call it automation. Even if you trick your brain, find a life hack or something to have it in every area of your life, your physical life, your financial life, your business life, your romance life, your social life, your family life. You can have it all. Just apply it, apply the tools, and believe that. And I'll see you at the top.
All right. Man, I sure do appreciate it, Ethan. This has been great and a huge value to the listeners too. So thank you for your time.
All right. Thanks for having me, Jeff. Always good to talk to you.
All right, man. Catch up soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Can, No Can't. If today's episode resonated with you, remember it's not about the chaos you face. It's about how you choose to take back control. It's about finding that one small can in the can't you're given and grinding it down. Find your angle, carve your place out in the world, and get the fucking win. Do that by finding what you can do and not listening to what you can't. You choose. Be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Your support helps me reach more people that are ready to embrace the all-can mindset. And it lets them know there's someone that's willing to walk with them no matter how dark the path gets. You can find me on Insta at JDLuther 2.0 and allcan_no-can't. This is where I share more tips, stories, inspiration to help fuel your journey. And until next time, keep pushing boundaries, breaking limits, proving to yourself that anything is possible, even when you're told it isn't. Remember, life's not about can't. It's all can. Go prove them wrong.